Hi everyone, welcome back to Mr. Matt's virtual storytelling class. This class is best for students in 1st through 4th grade, but anyone is welcome to join. My name is Mr. Matt, and today we're going to talk about how every character has something that they want more than anything in the world. Last week we talked about how stories have at least one character, and oftentimes they have many characters. Today, we're going to read a story that has 3 main characters and a lot of smaller characters too. We're going to read another story by Dr. Seuss. This one's called The Lorax. Have you read it? It's really, really good. So while you listen to me read The Lorax, I want you to think, what do these characters want the most? What do they really, really want? Okay, let's read the story. One moment. Okay, here is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. What a creepy looking place. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. Who's this boy? What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. Who's the Onceler? You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in this lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. There's the Onceler's house. Oh my gosh, and you can kind of see him staring out there. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Hope you have all these things to pay. All right, there we are, throwing it in the pail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whispermaphone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. A secret. Slup! Down slups the whispermaphone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. There's the whispermaphone. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. Oh, look at a beautiful place, and there's the Onceler's wagon. Everyone seems so happy, and there are these swans singing, the truffula trees. Wow, lots of truffula trees in so many colors. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffle of fruits. Delicious. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. They are. But those trees, those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh buttery milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart, throwing all the stuff out of the cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. So he chopped down a tree, and he's making a thneed, whatever that is. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister," he said with a sawdusty sneeze, "I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, "What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?" Does not seem very happy. "Look, Lorax," I said, "there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats." The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed." Look at that thneed. The thing is crazy. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy." Look at him with his money right there. And there's the guy with his new thneed, looking pretty happy, and the chopped down tree. "I repeat," cried the Lorax, "I speak for the trees." "I'm busy," I told them. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, "Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weewalkin, sharp right at South Stitch." And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. We're getting knocked down. Oh my God, look at all these trees they're bringing in. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hatchet, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacket. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. Looks like he's back. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. Look at them go, how sad. They'd been living here all their lives. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. All of them marching away, and all these trees chopped down in the background. Oh my God, he's got this factory now with delivery trucks. I meant no harm, I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffless croak. Onceler, you're making such smoggleless smoke. My poor Swami Swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. He's got the swan and all the smog up here. All that smog from the factory. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. And there they go, far away again. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. It's the gluppity-glup. Oh my God, it's going into the pond with these fish. They used to be so happy. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. I'm arguing. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffle tree of them all. My gosh. The last one. Look at all these stumps where trees used to be. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. Jumping there. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he heisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. He's leaving the place, the only place he's ever lived, he has to leave now. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that means, well, I just couldn't guess. What does it mean, you think? That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. That's what the unless means. It means unless someone like you comes along to help save the place. He's throwing something down. What's that? So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffle seed. It's the last one of all. You are in charge of the last of the truffle seeds. And truffle trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffle, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Hopefully he'll come back. And that's the end. All right, I'll be right back and we can talk about it. All right. Well, what did you think? Personally, I love that story. So, who were the three main characters? Did you say the Lorax? Yeah, that's definitely one main character. Yeah, and the Onceler, that's definitely another main character, so that's two. And the third main character, any ideas? Yeah, it's supposed to be the first child we see, the one that's at the beginning and end of the story, that the Onceler is telling the entire story to. And that child doesn't have a name, it's actually supposed to be us, the reader. So you can think of yourself as the third main character. So for most of the story, what does the Onceler want more than anything else in the world? Remember, that's what we're trying to find. What do they want? What do you think? What does the Onceler want? What did he really want? Remember, he said, I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Okay, so what did that Onceler want? What did he want? Well, he wanted a bigger factory, so he could make more needs, so he could make more money. He's greedy, and he wanted more and more and more money. That's what he wanted more than anything in the world, money. And how about the Lorax? What did the Lorax want more than anything in the world? Do you know? Well, remember, he asked the Onceler to stop chopping down the trees, and then he begged him to stop because the Barbaloots had no more food. And what do you think the Lorax wanted most of all then? Yeah, he wanted to protect the trees and to protect the environment so all the animals could keep living there. Because when the trees got chopped down, none of the animals could live there anymore. Remember? Even the fish had to leave. And now, finally, what did the child want? The character that you're supposed to be. What did you want? Well, at first you wanted to know what happened to the Lorax, and now you know, because the Onceler told you. So what do you want now? Remember, the Onceler gave you the last truffle tree seed. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to eat it? I hope not, but it's up to you, a main character, to decide what you want to more than anything in the world. Do you want to just make more and more and more money like the Onceler did? Or do you want to help those that need help, like the animals in this story, and protect the environment like the Lorax wanted to? You have the seed, you get to decide. At the beginning of the story, the Onceler wanted money, so he chopped down trees, and the Lorax wanted to protect the land from him and the trees and the animals. So he had to convince the Onceler to stop. They both wanted opposite things, so they were kind of against each other. They were enemies. The argument between the two of them about what each of them wanted is what the story was about. But now you get to decide how the story ends. Will you be the Onceler, or will you be like the Lorax? Will you destroy the earth, or will you save it? You can plant trees too, or flowers. You can recycle. You can make sure you turn off lights when you leave a room to save electricity. These are all ways you can save our world so the Lorax and his friends can return to it. Okay? So as you can see, every character has something that they want very, very much. And the story is about them trying to get that thing. Thanks so much for joining my class, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. See you soon. Bye.